Hello,
Go.
everyone. Welcome back to Three Editors Talk Aquariums. It's lovely to have you guys back with us. We haven't recorded for a couple of weeks for various reasons, so sorry about that. But you guys don't pay for it, so you can't complain, really. It's free, so you can take what you can get.
Hey, where's
But
Ryan gone?
oh, I don't know. Well, that was the next thing I was going to say. So Ryan is currently driving because he's been traveling a lot for work
Being
recently.
driven.
Oh, I apologize, but Ryan's been traveling a lot for work recently, which is why we haven't recorded for a couple of weeks. So if you're on
One
YouTube,
of them was my fault, and one of them was Cam's fault. And I keep pressing things on my phone and disconnecting, so that's fun.
well,
Next it's my turn to make a mistake. My turn to have a fault. Sorry.
Yep. Well, we'll try and figure it out, but bear with us, please. But yeah, Ryan's traveling, so if he ducks out and comes back and then ducks out and all this random stuff, I guess you'll know why that is. But yeah. So yeah, obviously it's been a couple of weeks since we've recorded, so I'm expecting some very exciting fish news for you guys to fill this segment up with, given you've had time to sort your stuff out. So who wants to go first with the exciting story?
I'll go first. I'll be the exciting one.
Good boy.
I've got some real exciting news. I'm streaming this live on TikTok at the same time, just for fun, just for shits and gigs.
Good stuff.
Okay.
But my exciting news is that I have set up Mr. Peabody's tank. So yeah, I set that up yesterday, got that all planted out, designed and set up. So I'm pretty happy with that. So for those that didn't know, Mr. Peabody is a little dwarf pea pufferfish that came in probably 2 months ago now, maybe even longer, and he was in far from fantastic shape. Was really thin, so I was actually a little worried we were going to lose him, but nursed him back to health, and he's all tickety-boo now. And yeah, so he's going to have his forever home with a small group of pea puffers in the shop.
That's mean.
So
tell me about the tank.
He's not going to be solo then, is he?
No, I kept 4 others, so 5 in total from the group that came in. The other 4 were fine.
Have you confirmed that it is a Mr. Peabody, not a Mrs. Peabody?
From all accounts, from what people have said, it is a Mr. Peabody.
And can you tell which one Mr. Peabody is as opposed to all the rest of them now that you've put them together?
Currently, I can, because he's still much, much smaller than the other ones. Definitely bigger, but much, much smaller. I will be definitely trying to examine Mr. Peabody as much as possible to try and work out what patterns he has compared to the other people. So, compared to the other ones. So hopefully we can always identify him.
So no identifying tattoos or anything?
No, he's not been tattooed. He's got no face tattoos or anything like that. No crazy red mohawk or anything along those lines. So, yeah, we'll see how we go with that.
So he won't look like those awesome photos you see that people always comment on Facebook of those people who are wanted on the police put up.
I would highly doubt it, but maybe my editing skills are getting pretty good on Canva, so maybe I'll be able to put some of those cool shade glasses on them or something like that and do a Snoop Dogg drop at the same time one day.
Just put the meth ripping holes all through your face and his face and stuff, because I think that's probably why he was really skinny. Is he probably was? He did have a jug of shoot. You've got him off it now. You've got him off now, so he's all good.
Yeah.
Oh, good shit. Well, why don't you tell me about the tank, Cam? Like, what sort of size, and describe the tank scape and all this kind of thing. Paint me a word picture.
Paint you a word picture. Okay, so excuse me. A few weeks back, we talked about how I was looking at picking up this whole bunch of aquariums, and you guys laughed at me and said that I was going to do it. And guess what? I did do it. In this tank deal, or this fish room buy-up that I did, there was a tank with a stand. It's a complete bow front, like a complete curved one, which I've never worked with before.
It's a half circle, eh?
Pardon?
It's like a half a circle, isn't it?
Yes. Yep. So I don't want to say Aquavision because it's not that, but it's made by Aqua One. I believe they've discontinued them now, but it's a 65 litre unit. So it's 2 foot across, and then it curves out like a half a circle, basically. So that's the aquarium in it. Didn't come with any usable lights. It didn't come with any usable filtration. So DIY Daddy's come out, and I have hacked out the internals of it all with a multi-tool, which I've now burnt out. Thank you very much, Ryan. And so I've retrofitted a light setup underneath it and put a hang-on back on the back of it. So that's the filtration setup for it. I've put about 3 inches worth of mix between fluorite, JBL Monado, and river sand as the substrate, and about 1 inch underneath it there's a layer of peat, because I've heavily planted with crypts, and crypts do really well when they are covered in peat. I've got peat under the root base. So the back of it is, I opened up 3 pots of tissue culture Balansae. So it's about 15 Balansae right up the back of it that I'm wanting to grow really tall up. On the left-hand side, I've planted Cryptocoryne retrospirals bronze. So hopefully that keeps a little bit of colour in there, a nice big patch of sort of a bronzy sort of colour. The front of it, I used a couple of containers of ADA Cryptocoryne Wilsey up the front, so I'm hoping it stays a bit lower. And then on the left-hand side, I have put one of my crypt, or the name's going to elude me. It's not Blasai, Cialadas, which I've only got a couple of. There's only a couple of them in the country, so hopefully I can showcase that plant a little bit. And then right in the middle, there's this really big, gigantic piece of wood that sort of goes up and almost like a volcano in the middle. It's got lots of crevices, lots of action, and I've put a few different species of Anubias on there. That was the hardest part because I kept a lot of my Anubias in with green serums, and they've ripped at all the leaves. So I've just been basically sticking on rhizomes. So there's also
little bits of root and particles of Anubis.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that I've put some things in the right place. The little bits of leaves here and there. So there should be gold coin, gold nana, coffee fola, minima, and just a standard Anubias. And there's petite. Sorry. So hopefully I've placed them correctly and it doesn't look ridiculously bad. At the moment, that's the part of the scape that I hate the most, the big piece of wood with the Anubias on it. So we'll see how that goes when it grows out a little bit. I've also filled up
photo you sent through. Obviously, the plants haven't grown yet, but the photo you sent through it looked pretty cool. So I think that's I think it's going to be a cool little tank. Now, I mean, I don't know anything about these little murder beans, but you've got like soft water with them, and I've always thought puppers are hard water, brackish type things traditionally. Is that?
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know anything about these guys, but yeah.
Yeah, pea puffers are full freshwater. So yeah, all the research I've been doing, I've done hours and hours of internet researching and talking to people and joining Facebook groups, all that kind of stuff. I wasn't aware of, but they can come from blackwater regions as well, which is why I put a lot of leaf litter in there. So hopefully that goes quite nicely with them.
Where are they from? Like India or something, or where are they from?
India.
I think
India,
Sri Lanka, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
That satisfies my curiosity.
Yeah. So lots. I mean, foraging for leaves and stuff like that with the young fella the other day. And you've got all sorts of leaves and cones and stuff. So once that drops down, it should look pretty good and hopefully quite natural.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It sounds like a pretty cool tank. Like, you can't go wrong with crypts, I reckon. Like, just real dense, lush crypt, kind of like jungle. Doesn't really even matter what else is going on. Like, it'll look cool.
Yeah,
it's just exactly how they'll grow. We'll change it, but either way, it's a win. Yeah. Oh,
I've got a big problem with one of my planted tanks. You guys might be able to solve for me. I'm a bit of a planted tank sort of guru. Now my Java moss carpet that I originally had in my grow out tank has turned into a Java moss tank. And I've lost the fish. I can't find them anymore. So I wonder if maybe there's too much Java moss and not enough fish in that tank.
Do you mean lost the
what
fish
would
as in
you
they
guys
died,
suggest?
or like you just can't see them anymore?
Well, I just can't see them, and it's so dense. I don't know if they're actually going to have had survived it. If they got stuck in the Java moss and just died.
What kind of fish are we
it's,
talking about?
All Africans, yeah.
Yeah, but like, is it peacocks?
Trocheus and Mambuna and stuff.
I reckon, well, it's not going to help you that much now, but I reckon when you resolve this issue, what you want to do is you want to put something that's like a cave dweller or a crevice dweller or something, like a Lilupi or like Julie's or something. And then, because it's obviously a pretty decent sized tank, just chuck them in there and leave them. And they'll probably breed in there. And obviously, these cave dwellers aren't going to get themselves stuck in theory. So just chuck them in and you can have your little plant tank and you won't have to worry about losing these dumb Malawi fish.
I actually want to pull all the plants out and see, because they are probably still in there somewhere. But this one tank just grows Java moss like you wouldn't believe.
The problem is when you pull out the Java moss, then you'll just pull out all the fish stuck in it, and they'll, you won't be able to see them, and you'll drop them.
I usually put them in a bucket, like a big bucket, and let them all come out.
Do you want to keep this Java moss intact?
No, I'll just tease it all apart, rip it all apart. Yeah.
I was gonna say you could just like take out like a handful every day, and spread it around so you can make sure there's no fish in it, and thin it out slowly. And then when it gets back to a manageable amount, then you don't even have to worry about pulling it out and sorting all the fish and putting them back where they need to go in there.
Yeah, that's probably what I should do. Every time I go out and feed, just pull a little bit out.
Yeah, because it won't take that long, really. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
good
it
stuff.
snuck up on me. It's just such a planted guru that it just happens,
Yeah.
I've probably got about $7,000 worth of Java fern in there, or Java moss in there, sorry. And at like
yeah, man.
$15 a handful or whatever,
Stop with this breeding Africans waste of time. Just grow your Java fern and call it a day.
I'll just start breeding Java moss.
Yeah, be more successful out of that.
It'll be fucking Lambo territory right there.
Yeah,
I feel like we might have some new competition coming into the game. Are you going to set yourself up an aquarium store soon, Ryan? Because that's what it feels like.
No.
Ah.
I'm not crazy. You guys are crazy. I'm not. Well, that's debatable.
You are, but in a different way.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. What else have you had going on in your fish room, Ryan? You had any other exciting things to report to us?
I stripped some auroras, so that was cool. Some aurora.
Nice.
And they're cool fish. Did you see them in the sky, or what? Like were they the pink and green color?
Well, we don't want to talk about fucking auroras in the sky. Jesus. The Facebook page got destroyed for a couple of days there, and I went outside looking for this bloody pink sky, and it was just the same as normal. It's so dumb. But
Did you have your eyes open?
If it happens, well, when you live in the big city, sometimes the lights light up too bright, So must have been the Helensville lights,
Big bright city.
I drove all the way out to Cario to go see it, so it's like a bit over an hour's drive from here to go see it, and it was pretty cool. But then just came home and that was that.
I walked to the end of my street and walked home.
Oh, good lad.
Anyway, talk about the aurora.
Yeah,
I like them.
That's the most expensive thing, aurora. That's the most exciting thing that's happened. Aurora spawned. There's another one holding in there too. Then the one that I stripped had the most fry I've ever seen out of a Mambuna was like 40 or 50 out of one strip.
Wow.
It was like, holy.
Are they the ones that came up from Thomas?
Yeah. But we don't talk
Danny.
about them because I still owe him fish that I haven't shipped him down. So we just don't talk about the aurora anymore.
Oh, I don't think he's here, so I think you're safe.
He will get his fish. He will get his fish. I'm a man of my word, but I've just been very busy, and I don't like shipping fish when I'm in a hurry because then you make mistakes, and then you're shipping dead fish. So
yeah, very cool.
Things will quieten down for me, so
is
I'll
the
be able to
name,
get them out. Oh, exactly. You don't want to rush things, otherwise You just
How long?
you do something in a hurry and do stupid stuff.
How long do you think it's going to be until the Aurora are sellable? Because I may or may not like them, and I may or may not want some. Just saying.
Probably 6-8 months or something till they're 3-4 centimeters.
I can't wait that long. I want them now.
Well, at the moment they're kind of just little, well, probably like 10 times the size of the fry you're dealing with, but they're still pretty small.
Not good enough. Do better.
I also had that fuck up I was telling you guys about with the filter in the lounge tank, the big tank.
Oh yeah, go tell everyone that story.
My big display tank that I usually film in front of, it's just been looking a little bit meh recently, and I was like, what's going on? The fish just look a little bit off. It's a little bit murky, and it just doesn't look right. And then I opened the bottom up and had a sniff around the sump. For starters, all the towels and everything that I stick on top of the sump was soaked, even though they're normally not. And I was like, what's going on here? And then I pulled the top off the sump, and it was just full of slime. I was like, what the hell is all this? And in my, I guess what do you call it? What's the word for like a goal? Like I was trying to get to a stage where it was real clear, so I just stuffed everything full of filter wool, including all the bio compartments. So like it goes, it's supposed to go through the mechanical filtration, then go up and over a divider, and then sink down through all the bio, and then sort of go up and down and up and down. But if one of the chambers is blocked, it'll just overflow it and go into the next one. And so because I filled the bio chamber up with filter wool, it was just bypassing like 90% of the filter and just growing slime and mank and overflowing out the top of the sump. Well, not overflowing, but like going up high enough that it was soaking water out into everything that was on top. And it was just an absolute mess. So, yeah.
Did you consider adding some stability to your filter? Because that probably would have helped.
That's a no word, and we don't talk about it. No, but what I did do is lay heaps of towels out and just rip the whole bloody thing apart. I ripped all those filter sponges out because my mate recently gave me a whole bunch of filter foam that he got off AliExpress when he moved house. So I had big massive sheets of that. So I chopped that up, made it all fit perfectly, got rid of all the filtration, got rid of all the filter wool out of the bio chambers, filled the bio chambers up, and just redid the whole thing. And now it's pretty good. So yeah.
So now it's clear and got happy fish in that?
It's still a little bit cloudy, but I think it's a bacterial type bloom, and it will pass.
Oh yeah.
Because obviously it's probably going through a bit of a mini cycle at the moment.
Cycle. Hey, there's a product in a bottle that can help with that, isn't there? For bacterial stuff and cycling.
No. It's okay. It'll go away. Also, I think because I just went outside and just found in my garden all these boxes and bags of biomedia and coral and all sorts of random stuff I had, and then just turfed them in the filter without washing them. I think I'm still dealing with a little bit of the cloudy white particles from that sort of blowing through the tank. And once the filtration picks it up, it'll sort it all out.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But I couldn't be bothered washing it. It was already cold and.
You should post the before picture that you sent us on the Three Idiots page or something. It's pretty funny. It's like maybe you can see 5 centimeters into the tank, and then the rest is just murk. You can see like a few fish silhouettes going through it, but that's about it.
That's what I posted and said I was doing a Blackwater African tank.
Yeah, well, it's like not Blackwater so much as it's like water. you know when you see it when it's like a stream or something where there's heaps of clay, and it's just like that dirty brown, like looks like used dishwater. That's what it looked like. So
that's pretty. It was pretty bad. Yeah,
man.
Yeah,
sounds it. So yeah, that's kind of funny. I guess you learned your lesson that filtration does matter. Shall we say? No. Okay. But yeah, is that the most notable things you've had happen? In any other things you want to, report to the
I
to the
think
class?
that's there's probably had lots happen, but I can't remember because I'm like a goldfish, even though they've disproved that theory.
Well, what else? Oh, you got those Calvis? Is that public knowledge?
Oh yeah. Well, Nelson. Well, I'm about to pick Nelson up actually, but he took some Calvis that he'd bred to the fish club meeting, and I was stuffed and had to go to bed real early because I'm old. But this young can here was going, so I got him to bid for me, and I got 3 Calvis for $36. So I was pretty happy.
Nice. What sort of Calvis?
Well, it's debatable because we don't really know what we've got in New Zealand, but they call them black Calvis. But if you put them on white substrate, they'll go white as well. So who knows? They are just New Zealand Calvis.
New Zealand Calvis.
I'd say, but they call them black Calvis, but I don't think they are.
Are you going to market them
definitely
as
just-
black Calvis?
No,
What?
I'm just going to grow them out and enjoy them because I don't really. Altos are too hard to breed. One day I might, but I've bred them before. They're just a pain.
I was going to say the first
Got
lot
them
of
for
Altos
$36. So.
the first lot of Altos
that?
I got were black Calvis from you. Many moons
they're
ago.
They're pretty cool fish, and they're
And from
pretty
memory,
much
you
still
charged
selling.
like $50 each for them.
Yeah, $40 or $50 at like 4 centimeters. Yeah.
Scam
Yeah,
artist.
they're seriously cool fish. They're only they're only about 2 centimeters long at the moment. The little fellas just sitting in a breeding trap, growing out a bit. I was very happy with that. And I picked up a bunch of Mbuna from Cam's shop too, that are all spread now through my fish room.
Good stuff. Doing their thing.
So
Fun times,
happy days. And
Yeah,
I also, on a non-fish related thing, managed to get some paint on my Holden, so I'm happy.
Oh,
Made some progress on that. So that's
what color are you
been a lot of
painting
work
it?
in there. I don't know, but I'm painting the underside
Pink.
black at the moment. It's
boring.
definitely not going pink. I've had a pink
You
one
should.
before, but I don't want another one.
You should do it in Three Idiots Talk Aquariums colors, black and
Do
pink.
it, and we won't help fund it.
I can guarantee I'm not going to do it in 3D. It's aquarium colors. It's probably
That's
going to
not
be a
very
dark
good.
blue, a
That's
dark
not
bluey
good,
greeny type color, something very neutralish.
Well, that's very disappointing. I'm not gonna lie to you. Well, yeah, I guess it's my turn now. So I have 2 things. The first one was way long ago now. It was like the day after we recorded our last episode or something. So I've been saving it. Don't worry.
Many moons ago.
Exactly. Back when Ryan was only 117 years old. But I went to Kelly Tarleton's, the public aquarium here in Auckland the other day, like 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, whatever. And that was fun. There's some pretty cool stuff, like some pretty weird stuff. Like, what was the coolest thing? Like they got the New Zealand freshwater eels, but they're like gigantic, like kind of creepy looking. So that was fun. They got like seahorses cruising around as like an octopus, like what else? Stingrays, sea turtles that are injured, so they can't go back to the ocean, so like missing flippers and stuff. But they come up and see you. They got this big puffer fish that it's like they got this massive tank that's like 15-20 meters long, and then like another like 10 meters the other way, and like goes varying depths and stuff. And there's like these puffer fish and like stingrays and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. I did enjoy that quite a lot. And then
Did you say the Deem tank? Did you say the Deem tank?
No, that's not there anymore.
Yeah.
There's no
sure?
the only. Yeah, I think so. The only freshwater thing that is around there is the eels.
That makes sense. So they don't want to.
There's also tuataras, so I don't know what you'd class that as, but that was fun. the tuatara was sitting like right at the front, so that was pretty exciting. And then I also went to the zoo at a different point, so that was fun.
Did you
They
see?
got a
Did you
big.
see the mon- Did you see your monkey family?
I did, yes. But yeah,
Did
they
you
got a whole bunch
did you
of fish
did you
there,
make
so that was fun.
ooh ah noises at them and see if they shit in their hands and throw it at you?
You know what? This is going to be surprising, but I did not.
What?
I expect better from you. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
But yeah, they got heaps of fish in there, so that was pretty cool. They got like these massive rainbow fish, heaps of like tinfoil barbs, big clown loaches.
Oh, is that in the new?
arachnoids.
Is that in the Asian, Southeast Asian display setup they did?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
man,
pretty
that's cool. That's real cool. Eh?
Yeah,
It's
and
worth-
then
I haven't
there's,
actually seen it yet. I need to go and see it.
Oh, it's wicked.
Yeah, you should. It's pretty awesome. There's a lot of like different stuff, and like weird stuff, like stuff that's real big that you wouldn't expect to be that big. So that's pretty cool.
They've got a caiman crocodile or something like that in there as well. Eh?
It's one of those ones, a gharial. So it's the one with like the real snout, but like real skinny, and then the big teeth.
Yeah.
That's kind of creepy though. They just look mean. So
It's a really, really cool setup.
They've had a few fish breed in there, haven't they? Is that right?
Yeah, they had the arowanas breed a wee while ago.
Did they do you know if they've gotten anywhere with a fry, or is it fizzled out?
Yeah. No, because I think they strip them. From my understanding, they keep them like, in a different, not on display. They're like in the back room or something. But I believe they're still kicking around. And then there's all these random little, like you can't really see that well, but there's like all these random little fry swimming around. There'll be like little barbs or rainbows or whatever, like tiny. So that's pretty cool.
Do you think that they get eaten?
I don't think so. Because it's such a massive space and there's so much like, random crap in there, like leaves and like little rocks and stuff. Like they'll just be kicking around in there without having to worry about it, I reckon. Because usually there's fish like of varying sizes. In there? Yeah. I reckon. Because there's so much hiding spots in that. And there's like
clown loaches. Do you reckon the clown loaches breed?
I don't reckon the clown loaches do. There's not that. I didn't see that many clown loaches. There was like
they're not big enough yet anyway.
There's some that's like pretty big.
Are they? When I was there, I didn't see particularly large ones.
I saw there's definitely a range, but I saw a couple that were like probably in the like, I don't know, what would it be like, even almost to the like 35 centimeter range.
Oh, I didn't see those ones when I was there.
There's only a couple, and then I only saw maybe one that size, and then there's like more like 20 centimeter ones, and then all the way down to like the smallest ones, probably like 10, 12 centimeters. But it's such a massive thing that it's like there could be another crocodile hanging out and you wouldn't see it kind of situation. So it's like I have no idea. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool. And then they got another tank that's in the Australian section that's just filled with rainbow fish and some. I think there's a couple of turtles, but I didn't see the turtles. But there's like heaps of rainbow fish, and I think there's one or two other bits and pieces, but I don't remember. That one's a bit weird because it's quite hard to see in because it's like outside and there's just so much glare. It's very hard to see from like, at least when I was there, like the angle the sun was on. But you could see there was heaps of them, and then there was like, I can't remember what it is, but there's like these birds, like big ass like parrot things kicking around. And like all this kind of stuff, like it's just flying around with it, and there's like water dragons and stuff like that in there. I think so.
I think that rainbow fish one might be more designed for kids because remember, it's got the viewable panels down the bottom of it, around about child height to sort of look into it.
It's like It's like the whole front is acrylic. It's like floor to like probably like chest high, maybe. I don't know, half a meter deep, and then like maybe 4 or 5 meters long, I'd say. And there'd be hundreds of fish in there, and massive rainbows. It's one of those ones that's like you forget a lot of times how big rainbows get, but like crazy big.
Is it just a mixture of them, like just a licorice all sorts?
from memory, I think there's like maybe 3 species or something like that.
And that's
And
like
then
they call it
there
like
might be a couple of
an
different
Australian themed fish, or an Australian themed tank, is it? Did you say?
Yeah, because they've got like the Australian area where there's like emus and stuff like on the back, and then like these all these Australian birds,
Snake
and
nets
like
and stuff like that
reptiles
too.
and stuff. I think so. And there's like the what do they call them? Right next to it, there's this big monitor lizards that's like probably a couple meters long, like stuff
Those
like
big
that.
scary,
But
those big scary suckers. Yeah,
yeah, those things that like look like they're gonna eat people.
they would
But
definitely
yeah,
look like they would kill you if you went and messed with them.
yeah, 100%. So that was pretty cool. And then obviously saw lots of non-fish related stuff. Saw the baby tiger that they're breeding. What else
Cool.
did I see? Saw the lion walk around. Never seen it move before. Oh, they had heaps
Tigers
of
and
goldfish.
Tigers and lions are the worst though, eh? Like at the zoo, because all they do is lie there, and you're just like, this is
Yeah.
freaking boring.
The
do
key
anything.
to going
They
to the
just-
zoo to see the lions and the tigers is go when it's pissing down, because then they all go under the trees and they move around under the trees. I went there one day and it was absolutely hosing down, and I got such a good view of all of the wild animals because they were just standing under the trees doing nothing.
But they just
Oh,
otherwise
nice.
they just lie in the shade and do nothing. So like,
Yeah, but these are standing. So standing's like an extra couple of points better than lying.
I think lions, tigers, they look cool, but they're dumb. They just, I don't know. They do
I don't know.
anything.
What else did I see? There was some. I saw the otters chasing each other around. That was fun. They're having a go at each other.
Oh yeah, otters are cool.
I saw the ostriches eating some food. So yeah, it was a good time.
What about the giraffes? Do you see the giraffes?
Yeah, they weren't eating. They were just kind of like wandering. They were like, just there was like this one, like 10 meters ahead, and then they're all following it. So that was kind of weird. But
Yeah.
the other thing as well is in the lion, like for the people who don't know, the lion place is like a footpath, and then there's like the fence is only like maybe like chest high, and then there's like a moat, and then there's like a
But
little
they've got a
island.
moat, so they can't get out.
Yeah, but there's like heaps of goldfish, and I couldn't quite see that well, but I'm pretty sure they were guppies, or either guppies or those
Gamboos, yeah.
leopard fish. Yeah, in the but like there would have been thousands easily. It was like a swarm, just cruising around in there. So that was kind of funny.
Zim brings up a pretty logical point. Have you met cats? Because that's pretty much lions and tigers.
Some
Yeah,
could say they are big cats.
Cats
Even.
are, cats the same, aren't they? But
Yeah.
cats are cool.
Debatable.
I don't know. Some cats are cool. Nelson, who I just picked up, has a ginormous cat. I forgot what it is. What is it? Ragdoll or something? A Mancoon. And that thing's just like a giant, fluffy teddy bear that's like fucking ginormous. And he like got carpet up the door, and he runs up the door and stuff. He's pretty cool.
He got real pointy ears. That's the thing I always remember about it.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool looking cat. Like gonna be bigger than my dogs, which is not hard, but you know,
it's not a high bar.
Nah.
But that segues nicely into what I was going to talk about next, which is a story.
Random question. Oh wait, sorry, my bad.
I said.
You want to tell story time first?
Yeah, sorry, I popped too early. Yeah, my bad.
But my second story does involve Nelson, so that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But the other day, I think, what day was it? It was probably Saturday or Sunday. No,
Father's Day.
Man, that joke is never going to get old, is it? But yes,
Hey,
one day on the weekend.
I'll just see if I can. I could just see. Hang on, I'll see if I can put this onto here. Let's see if it works. I don't know if it's going to work.
Is he talking to us or is he talking to himself?
This is like premium content right here.
I'm kind of talking to myself, but also talking to you. But anyway, you're telling a story about Nelson.
Well, involving Nelson. So like on, I can't remember what the day was. Like on the weekend one day.
Are you there?
Hello. What is going on?
Oh, this is
Why
good.
don't you just mute yourself and then just sort it out and then talk later on when after I finish telling the story.
And Ryan's putting the idiot and idiot, the three idiots.
Okay, now he's gone. So I'm just going to tell the story. Please don't interrupt me with bullshit, ideally. So, yes. So on the weekend, one day, because I'm closing my shop, so I was arranging to sell my big tank, and the guy, so this big tank's like, I can't remember what it was, like 1,200 liters or something like that. And on the weekend, the guy I sold it to arranged to come by, to come pick it up. Okay, Ryan's back for some reason. Bro, mute yourself.
I'll mute him, man.
All right. But yeah, so he arranged to come by, pick it up, and it was like, quite early, because he wanted to be. It was Saturday, so he wanted to beat the traffic of like all the kids going to like school sports and stuff. So I got there at like 8, and I start like, I drain the tank and like take apart the filter and disconnect the heat, all the random bits and pieces that add up with a tank of that size. And so doing that, and also he was taking my arowana, so caught her, put her in this like big chili bin that was like 80-liter chili bin. Filled that up with water, put her in there, then had some bubbles going or something like while we were getting the rest sorted, whatever. So all was good. And then we took the tank. Oh, like this is a lot harder than it sounds, but we took the tank and put it in the van. In the van. They had this big, like almost box truck van.
Do you want to explain to the viewers or the listeners how big the tank is?
Yeah, so it was like 1,200 liters roughly. So I think it was like, off the top of my head, it was like 2,400. Yeah, like, so what's that in feet? That's like 8 feet long by like, it was like 2.5 feet deep, so like 70 something centimeters, 75 centimeters maybe, and then like maybe 70 centimeters tall, which is like 2.5 feet. These are all very ballpark numbers.
Large,
didn't prepare, but it was like very big, and there's like a lot of big dudes like trying to lift it in that. Obviously, it's pretty heavy. So we, got it in the van, picked up there's like a metal stand, like put the stand in, like sorted out all the filters and like the lights and like all these other random bits and pieces, got them all into the car, into the van rather, and then got the fish loaded up and sent them on their way. And this took like probably a solid 2 hours. Like, it's not that hard to explain, but it took a solid 2 hours. And that was that basically. And then I was still in the shop, I don't know, doing whatever I was doing. Like, I can't remember. And then, yeah, maybe. Oh, so they lived in Pukekohe, which for people who don't know, from Auckland, it's like maybe, well, from my part of Auckland, it's like maybe a bit over an hour drive, I'd say, to get there, like south. It's like out the other side. And so, yeah, maybe like 2 hours later, I get this phone call from him. And as they're unloading the tank, they've cracked the tank. So I did. You asked me, Cam, the other day what happened, and I didn't know at the time. But on one of the ends, the bottom, the corner that was like from the end to the bottom front, had cracked in that end panel. I don't 100% understand how it happened, but obviously it's cracked. So that means there's no water that can go in it safely, and it's like gonna need to get redone basically, which is fine. Well, it's not fine, but like that's one thing. But the other problem is the fish, because that was the only tank he had big enough. So what we arranged is, because he was getting dropped off somewhere later in the day for a work thing, like maybe 30 minutes away from where I was at the shop. And so we arranged for his wife dropped him off and then brought the arowana back to me. And then I took the arowana, like in my car, took her up to Nelson's house, who is like a big, like a monster fish, like American cichlids, like biches, like all this kind of big stuff. Basically, that's kind of all that he's into. And so we arranged to get the fish up there and into his big tank. But by this time, it was probably about 3:30. So the arowana had been in the chili bin for a good, what would that be? 6 hours, probably 7 hours almost. So that was kind of scary.
I tried to connect the phone to the stereo so Nelson could have commentary, but it did not work. So
nice.
And then it killed everything. So
is this a perfect time to say, "Okay, Boomer"?
Okay, Boomer. Boomy.
It did not like changing the Bluetooth connection while you're already in a call. I don't think the software could handle it. But anyway, I did hear your story about the broken tank and going.
Yeah.
And now, and I've even seen a video of Penny and the silver arowana playing together. So.
Yeah, because that's the other thing. Nelson has a silver arowana that's like maybe not a ton bigger, but like 15 centimeters bigger, and quite a bit more like thick, I guess. Not thick, but like large.
She's definitely chunkier than Penny.
Yeah, exactly.
Thick and large. So you'd probably say girthy.
Well, I was trying to avoid that word, let's be honest, because I'm dealing with a bunch
long
of children.
Long and lanky or short and stumpy? What do you reckon?
But yeah, so all is good now. She's settled in happily and everything, which is good. But it was a pretty stressful time. Obviously, I didn't want any bad shit to happen, but we got there in the end. But yeah, that's my, I guess, traumatic story of trying to move that big tank and big fish.
So which pane of glass broke?
One of the ends.
Oh, okay.
Which I suppose is better because it's
or a back or a base.
Yeah, it's better in that it'll be cheaper to resolve, but still, it's a bit of
the hard part is always how far do you go though when you do that? Like, do you chop the whole thing apart and reseal it completely while you're there, or like the cost of the glass is only one thing, isn't it? It's the labor and the hassle as well.
And because the thing is, it'll have to get a lot of it will get taken off. Taken apart to replace it anyway. So it's like, if you're doing that, may as well.
Because the end pane usually sits, does it sit inside in that tank or outside?
Inside.
Yeah, so you'd have to get the silicon squishy in between it, you'd have to take the front off anyway to squish it against it and stuff. So you're basically taking the whole tank apart.
Yeah. So it's a big pain. Yeah. But yeah, that's basically my story. So obviously, if you're ever moving tanks in that, try to avoid that situation. It's not enjoyable.
It's just definitely recommended not to break them. That's what I'd recommend.
Yeah, Ryan with the expert analysis.
Don't do that. I've broken many.
That's what we pay him the big bucks for.
Exactly.
Broken many, but then I've also had some that have survived ordeals and not even got a chip. So
when they definitely shouldn't have.
When they definitely shouldn't have survived, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. But yeah, I noticed we are 43 minutes in to this episode. So probably this is normally when we have the listener mail segment, which we might. Pardon?
Oh, I thought I was going to get the chant random question.
Well, no, because we normally do the listener mail first.
Didn't we have that? Didn't we have the vote? Didn't we have the vote? The vote on your inappropriate thing that you said, even though you think that I'm inappropriate?
We did have that, and then we did have a few questions via email, but we will skip that.
Do we defer them till next? Do we defer all that till next week because we've kind of run out of time?
Exactly, because we've just had a big sort of catch up from all the palaver that we've been dealing with.
The palaver. I like that word.
Why don't we make this episode full clickbait and just not talk about anything that we've actually said we're going to, and just catch up the entire time?
Well, I think we should talk about it a little bit because let's be
give
honest,
it about 2 minutes. You reckon?
Long.
Keep everybody hanging on for 57 minutes, then give it a couple at the end.
To be fair, I don't think anyone that listens actually expects anything of intelligence from us anyway. Like, or relevance, or
What? Yeah, but no, that makes sense. But I guess we'll do the whatchamacallit, the random question, and
Yeah, random question. I've done my bit.
Okay, and then we'll just see how long that takes, and then just go from there. So this is kind of related to something that you guys, I can't remember who, someone said it before, but do you prefer cats or dogs as a pet?
Oh, I'm glad you clarified as a pet.
Oi,
I don't know what they taste like.
I would
As a
definitely
pet.
give them both a go.
all right. Well, you're gonna.
As a
they're
pet,
coming-
I definitely prefer dogs because they actually like you, and they essentially they like to please you. Cats don't care about anything apart from themselves, and you're there to serve them.
all right. Well, I guess. But the thing is, with your dogs, they're pretty much just glorified cats. So I don't know if that counts.
No comment.
What's that? My dogs are glorified cats. Yeah, well,
Your dogs are pretty much
but
cats.
they're always happy to see me. A cat will just not be happy to see you. Yeah, but a cat won't be happy to see you, and they'll probably be sitting there looking at you, thinking how they're going to murder you in your sleep, and just generally.
Yeah, makes sense.
But also, cool.
What about you, Cam? What do you reckon?
I haven't had a dog for a very long time, since I was a teenager. I would like to get a dog, but I've most recently had a cat, and cats suck. So probably a dog.
Makes sense.
You said you wanted a dog, didn't you? Like a beagle or something, didn't you? Is that right?
Yeah, I want a dog. I'd like to get a dog.
Yeah.
That's why cats suck.
Right.
Can't
What do
argue with that.
your cats do apart from nothing?
My cat died. So hey, thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate it.
Oh.
Well, it's a bit awkward.
That's a bit weird. It's a bit morbid. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But it didn't like anybody in the family. It didn't like any sort of patting or cuddling. It just did what it did. I used to be pretty good at catching native birds, which was great. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yep.
Good times. Well,
if you like cats and you don't want them to go outside, I do know a guy that does really good insect screens. So let me know.
Get some shredded screens by Cat Claws.
What's that?
I didn't hear what you said.
All right, cool.
All right. Well, I would say probably cats because having a dog just seems like quite a lot of effort and a bit of pain, really. So,
the only thing that I think a cat has over a dog is it cleans up after itself.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff doesn't smell like.
Not really. If they don't clean it, they don't clean up their shit or piss if they piss through your house. They just whatever. I'm a cat.
No, they do that then. That's where you open the insect screen and let them out.
Boom, life hack.
But the good thing with a cat though is you can go away for a week and just leave out a whole 4 kg of cat food, leave the cat door open, and they're still there when you get back. So
And the other thing is, I'm kind of allergic to dogs, so
that would suck.
I guess it's a little bit out of my control in that sense. But what are you going to do?
So are you allergic to dogs, like in general, or just the ones that shed and are not hypoallergenic dogs?
I'm allergic to like all the hair and stuff. I'm allergic to cats as well, but it's more of a problem with dogs. So, I would prefer my face not exploding every time I come home. So, yeah, it's pretty easy. But yeah, well, that was fun. So we've got about 10 minutes to go. So why don't we talk about the actual topic of today's podcast?
What is the topic? I can't actually see it on here. So that was the fish keeping across the world, was it, or something?
Yeah, basically. So one of the kind of the main thing was I was I can't remember what I was doing. See, this was a long time ago that I came up with this idea, so I don't 100% remember. But I was doing something, or researching something on the internet, and then I saw. I think it was. I'm not 100%, but I feel like it was the whole Wallstead method thing. And I saw like a article or something about it, and it was like very, like I guess American, in the way it was like talking and I guess style wise. And I thought it was like quite interesting how different places around the world do fish keeping in a different way. Like it's not kind of I guess one sort of exact thing where all around the world you have the same style and method and type of fish keeping.
Well, obviously the basic premise is the same, right? You have water, a filter, sometimes a heater, and you put some fish in there.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but it's like the way it expresses itself, and like that's not necessarily always true. Like for example, in a lot of places in like Southeast Asia, it's like the fish are kept outside with no heater or anything in aquariums because obviously it's hot. And like there's like a lot of this. I guess it's American, kind of a lot of the. It's like the Father Fish and Wallstead kind of gang who are going towards the no filter type of thing, and like a lot of places use acrylic over glass and things like that. So yeah, I was wondering what if anything have you guys noticed in that sort of realm of things that get done either in New Zealand or don't get done in New Zealand that are not the same as other places around the world?
Overseas, they get all the cool stuff too, and all the cool fish. So that kind of sucks for us as well.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Is a lot of it is very focused on the sort of specific fish, I guess. Like you see a lot of
they niche down. They niche right down. Like they've got a whole room full of shrimp, and that's all they do.
And like you see on Instagram and stuff, people do those like real small, like almost vases and not jars, but like tiny little tanks, or not necessarily tanks, but like containers that are like designed for like plants and shrimp. And obviously we can't do that having no shrimp.
Like Ryan just said, like they niche down and just do like a fish room on shrimp. You've got a fish room just dedicated to African cichlids. So like I think that's something that happens worldwide as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's just more, I guess, options.
It's more, I guess, in bigger countries, you find more people that are doing that sort of thing because there is more people doing it, obviously. So the more people you do, you find a crazy one out of every 1,000,
Yeah.
And also there's a huge demand for it and the availability for it.
I think availability is the key there, because how many pleco rooms are there in New Zealand?
3.
A couple, yeah, not many. And then
if any, heyo.
And then we don't get obviously like the people keeping like the American native, or not American, like the Mexican live bearers. Like I can't remember what they're called, but like obviously we don't have people keeping them, or like we don't have like shrimp rooms.
Mexican live bearers.
Yeah, what are they called?
You was trying to segue in axolotls in, weren't you?
Well, I had to break it to you, but they aren't life bearers. I can't remember what they're called, but the ones. I'll figure it out.
I think.
Talk while I Google it.
For me, at least in New Zealand.
Hey, Cam and Brad, there has been a question asking how your silicon job went on that.
Yeah,
tank
I know. I've answered it. And you say that I'm backwards and you say that I am backwards and behind the time. This was asked 3 minutes ago, and I answered that question already. Maybe you need to pedal faster and get your internet going better.
Did it work?
No chance.
No.
I actually think it might have made it worse, if that's possible.
Sure. So turn it to a sprinkler.
It was more than a sprinkler.
Ground irrigation.
I was watering my concrete.
Cool. All right, that's settled.
The thing I was
I would
thinking
give you
of
some
was the
lessons,
goody-eared live bearers, by the way.
The what?
The goody-eared live bearers.
Goody-eared live bears. I never heard of them before.
That's what
There
I
you
was
go.
thinking, but I forgot the name. But Google has come to the rescue. The classic tropical fish hobbies
Something
magazine. So thanks for that.
Something I've
Saving a life. But yes,
noticed, at least I
continue.
feel in New Zealand, is that we've got a real DIY number 8 wire mentality when it comes to keeping fish, and I don't sort of see that quite as common or quite as often in other countries. But that's very much New Zealand mindset as well. So I think that kind of just falls into the way that we keep our fish.
I don't know if that's necessarily true in that it's just New Zealand, because like you see a lot of, at least I see a lot of Americans doing similar things. But the thing I noticed with when you look more towards like Asia and stuff, there's more of a, I guess, openness to like buy like the really nice kind of really fancy equipment. So like you see that a lot with, the people doing the, ADA style aquascaping. There's more of a desire to like really get the primo stuff and like buying expensive pipes just because they look nice. Whereas I think I see a lot of the New Zealand and like the American stuff is more like doing it yourself and focusing more towards the doing it cheaper.
And that's kind of
crazy
part of my point.
aspect.
Like that's sort of part of my point, as opposed to we'll use pipes because you've mentioned it. Going out and buying ADA pipes or whatever, you'll just go to the plumbing shop and buy a whole bunch of, drain fitting type pipes type of scenario. So that's very much number 8 wire type mentality. Instead of forking out for branded XYZ, you'll put this together, make this work, and go from there. Instead of like buying the genuine replacement parts, you'll just put a few bits and pieces together and it works, so job done sort of scenario. Canister filters with no strainers, but it, still drawing the water in, so it doesn't matter type of jobby.
Yeah, exactly.
Open up is good enough sort of vibe.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, it probably goes back to that other thing where I think, particularly in that like New Zealand, America versus Asia kind of situation, I think there's a lot more of that, I guess, desire to have like more tanks and have like that abundance kind of mentality of like keeping all the fish. And so obviously part of that comes with not spending as much money on each one. Whereas in some of the,
and I've seen in like some of the Asian countries, they really are like artwork in their house, like they're a statement piece type thing. So they do want to have a fancy ass tank with all the fancy ass gear that looks real nice.
But it's less sort of volume. It's like they might only have like 1 or 2 of these tanks, but it's like they put all the resources into one tank. Like a lot of people in like New Zealand American stuff put as many tanks and put all their resources into like spreading it out, I guess, more than like just making one really crazy fancy or highly planted.
I wonder if that's because like they often live in smaller houses and like apartments and things like that. They don't actually have the space to put more than one in, like maybe that contributes to it.
Yeah, potentially. But I don't know. I mean, there's plenty of big houses around in Asia and that as well.
Yeah,
but
it's a generalization to say Asia, right? Isn't it? Because it's a pretty massive
but I mean, even
landmass.
Even you see those tanks like in those like mansions and stuff, and it's just the one, but it's like bigger or fancier rather than like
badass. Yeah,
there's a bigger wall, so we can have 4 tanks along this wall. It's just one bigger tank that takes it all, and there's a lot more well done. Like not well done, but well done.
I think it's the New Zealand population also is a little bit like Pokemon. Got to collect them all when it comes to fish, even if it's only having 1 or 2 of them. I've got to have them in my aquarium and sort of smash them through. Where there's a lot of other nations, a lot of other countries that do a lot of species only type stuff, and each tank is dedicated only to the one species of fish, and then another tank for another species kind of thing, where we cram a few different sorts in one go.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense. And because there's a lot of, I guess, there seems to be a lot more focus in other countries on particular fish that people like than New Zealand. And I don't mean that in what we're saying about like dedicating an entire fish room, but like people get into, you know, what's an example? Like people get really into like the monster fish, for example, and that's all they'll keep. But in New Zealand, even people who keep like monster fish often have other things going on. Like it's not so much an exclusivity thing for a lot of the time. Even you know, even Ryan has a lot of African cichlids, like Malawi cichlids, but he's also doing the Tanganyikans, and then there's also
And
like the
plants.
catfish and the Java
And
moss.
Master plant grower.
Yeah, exactly. So it is kind of interesting the way that I guess develops differently in different places. I mean, I don't know if it, well, obviously there's no right or wrong or anything like that, but it's just interesting to see that there's differences and perhaps we don't know why. Or it might not even matter why, it's just different, you know? And
End
this
of the
is
day,
also something.
End of the day, we're all doing it because we love keeping water in glass boxes with things moving around in it.
Yeah, 100%. But even there's like the ponds, you know, like the koi pond thing. There's obviously we can't do that in New Zealand, but like that's really popular in a lot of places. Like in the UK, it's very popular. In Asia, it's very popular. In America, it's very popular. That kind of thing. So there's similarities there. But this is something. Well, if you're listening, I'm going to read out a comment that has been brought up that I think is really important or really interesting. And it is from First Class Fish via YouTube. If you haven't already, subscribe. That would be cool. But First Class Fish has said, I think worldwide planted tanks have become exponentially more popular than ever. And I think that's definitely true. I think it's particularly with things like Instagram, the whole aquascaping thing is exploding because it's so popular for even non-fish people in that. Like I have non-fish people, like people I went to school with or played sports with or whatever, like tell me that, oh, I saw this tank, like it's pretty cool. Like and they get in, like interested in that. Like they might not even do it, but it's like that's one of the best ways fish has grown sort of recently, I guess. So yeah, that's quite a cool point. But yeah. Yeah.
Is Ryan still with us, or has he disappeared?
Down here. Okay,
cool.
We just had to pull over and my tarpaulin wrapping up the screen. My tarpaulin wrapping the screen on the top of the thing started flapping around, and it's still flapping around.
Oh, nice.
We just stuck a strap around it, but it's still flapping around, so it's just annoying.
It sounds fun. But yeah, I guess that is a good touch. I do have some
better than the bad
I guess
touch.
I guess I was going to say I do have some other thoughts that we can touch on, but I think that might be a good place to leave it for this time. And this might be one of those ones that we can revisit.
Is that because we spoke to it for about 9 minutes?
It's because it's 1:03 and I kind of have to go somewhere.
Right.
Not that place.
I like that our topic is getting shorter and shorter each time. Eventually, very soon, we're not even going to talk about a topic. We'll have a topic, but we won't even say a word about it. Or maybe the last sentence will be maybe a paragraph each right at the end.
Hey, fish. This is Matt. That is specifically not what I mean. I have to go out, but I do have to attend to that business first too. But I do have to go out. Don't worry. I did deal with it beforehand too. But yeah, so thank you guys very much for listening. Please make sure to like and subscribe and send it to all your friends. Send it to your mom. Show your neighbors. Ryan would appreciate it. But yeah, thank you very much for that.
And we'll try and be more regular.
Yep.
Cam's regular as fuck every time after the podcast, but we'll try and
I'll crack the whip and I'll get these two idiots in line. And
can this be our topic next week? This is what we definitely won't talk about today. Next week, we'll do
Sounds good. I'll give you credit, Zen
This is what we definitely won't talk about. I'll talk about for 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yep. Sweet as. All good. Right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you later.
All right,
Have a
see
good
ya.
one, Tim. And up the wires.
Fuck the wire.